Hi, and welcome to this episode of Worldwide Canadian. I'm Tim Clark, coming to you from Halifax, Nova Scotia, inside the public library on Spring Garden Road. This week, I'm going to talk to you about my experience so far with my Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the differences between that and the Chevy Bolt. Stick around. So this past weekend, I decided that I was going to drive my Ioniq 5 with a 58 kilowatt hour battery to Debert, Nova Scotia in about -7 degrees Celsius. So I fully charged the car in the morning and I got up and got into the car. It was pre-warmed and we drove all the way to Debert, Nova Scotia. And the car showed that I would have about 260 kilometers range in the cold temperatures. But it was my first time really relying on the guessometer in the car. So what I did was I stopped first in Stewiacke, and when I got to Stewiacke, I plugged into the charger, and it appeared like it was initializing. I heard the contactors clicking, and then what happened was it said charging failed. So I unplugged, and I did try a second time, and that did not work either. It did the same process. Now, there was an F-150 Lightning that had pulled in beside me at the other charger, and it was charging away at about 48 kilowatt hours, and that was extremely slow, but I'm not sure the state of the car's battery, whether it was cold. I know it was at about 22%, and I knew it was going to be a little while, and that I had some range left in my battery, so I decided to move on. So I decided to drop my wife and daughter at the baby shower in Debert, and then I moved on to Masstown to see about the charging there. When I arrived, lo and behold, there was another F-150 in the fast charger, and so I backed into the $1.50 an hour slow charger, which is a level 2, that charges at about 6 kilowatts. And so I was on there for about 25 minutes, and then I pulled in to the spot when the F-150 decided it was done. And I plugged into the fast charger, and I charge really well. Now, the chargers in Nova Scotia are 50 kilowatt on the most part. There are two 350s right now that are the Petro-Canada. Now, for me, the Petro-Canada is a good option if I have no other option. Their chargers have been down for so long now that nobody really relies on them anymore. So what I would suggest is using them as a last resort. Now, the one in Spryfield and the one out in Stewiacke, which are supposedly 350 kilowatt chargers with 2 charging bays, never seem to be reliable. So I would say Petro-Canada is doing a really poor job. Now, that being said, I had no problem sitting for about 30 minutes to get to almost 80% at 49 kilowatts per hour on the flow chargers. And I have never had a problem on a flow charger getting a fairly decent charge, except for one time when I was traveling in Cape Breton and Bedeck was down for several weeks waiting for parts. And one other time when I had taken my Chevy Bolt 2019 down to a 0% and charged it, and it charged at about 2 kilowatt hours. So I'm not sure what the cause of that was, but when I charged it at home on my own charger, it charged perfectly fine, and I've never had any long-term effects of that. So what has my experience been like overall? Number one, I avoid Petro-Canada. I don't know whether Petro-Canada is half-hearted or whether they seriously have issues with understanding that they need those chargers to be reliable for people, because they won't use them if they are planning their trip and see ratings that are poor on the chargers. I use an app called PlugShare, and PlugShare allows me to find out what other people are saying about the results at chargers, and if it's a constant complaint about chargers not working or being slow, then people tend to avoid those and not build them into their plan. So for now, I just wanted to cover over the fact that there are still major problems with Petro-Canada in Nova Scotia for sure. I'm not sure about anywhere else, but I hear rumblings all throughout parts of the country that they're not highly serviced. With regard to the other issue that's been in the news media lately, that's the adoption of NACX by GM and Ford and other major OEM manufacturers. I don't find that to be hopeful for me because, number one, We don't have any version 3 and 4 chargers here in Nova Scotia right now. Enfield is all version 2, and the new slots that are opening up both in Yarmouth and other areas of the province tend to be slow in coming, so you never know when they're going to be available. For now, there isn't a Tesla supercharger that I could use even if I had the adapter available to me. So it's a wait and see thing, and I hear that they're charging a lot more for Tesla supercharging, and I would rather go to something that is designed for the car, that is reasonably priced, and is reliable. So that being said, it's been almost a month since I bought my new 2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5 standard range preferred car, and I must say I'm extremely happy with it. I've had it on several long trips, and it's very comfortable, very reliable, charges efficiently, and it does everything I want it to do. Now, some people would say that I should have tried to find the car with the higher range on the battery, like a 78 kilowatt hour battery, and that would make my experience even better. But I really don't mind charging. I find it 2 hours drive to be more than enough before I want to get out and stretch my legs, and the charging speed is so efficient and fast that it's usually finished before I'm ready to move on. So that being said, there's several things that I do like about the car. Number one, the systems that are built in to keep you protected from crossing lines and running into a car in front of you and things like that are very nice to have. Now, I have what's called the lane keeping assistance, and I have other features that, like when I'm traveling on the highway and on cruise control, if you come upon a car, it keeps you 4 car lengths behind the car. It uses the camera in the windshield to do that. There are none of those round ones in the bumper that are ultrasonic. And so the ultrasonic doesn't warn you when you're getting too close when you're parking. So that's why I like to back up the car, because they have them in the rear, and it will show me in the camera and also beep to let you know when your proximity is getting too close to something. So that is one thing I do like about the car, the safety features and the ease of actually driving the car and the comfort of the seating. I like the fact that the front seats are both heated, and I like the fact that my driver's seat is electronically adjustable. Makes it a lot easier when you're moving between drivers. The other thing I really like about the car is the seat is comfortable even when I put it back very far and I rest while I'm charging. I find it comfortable enough that I actually fell asleep yesterday in the car for over an hour and woke up, and that has never happened to me. I've never been able to get that comfortable. So that was great. And there are some things I miss about the Chevy Bolt. My wife enjoys them, and that is that the car is a little smaller to park. It's easier to get in and out around a busy street if the car's a little tinier. It's more compact, but it seems to have tons of space in the trunk as well. Not as much as the Ioniq 5. The Ioniq 5 has a ton more space in the trunk. I do like the fact that the Bolt has a slightly longer range in the summer. But the charging is a real negative for me, because if I'm going on a trip of more than 200 kilometers and you have to charge, or let's say even 300 kilometers and you have to charge, you're going to be charging a lot longer using that Bolt. So that being said, I'm looking forward to NACS, if it ever becomes available in Nova Scotia, to giving that a try. When it is rolled out for either GM or for the Hyundai brand cars, I will do a video on that and upload it for you. So overall, my impression of trading in my Kia Sorento to my Hyundai Ioniq 5 is that I made a wise decision for me, because I'm extremely happy and I'm enjoying the new vehicle. Well, that's it for me here on Worldwide Canadian. Please like and subscribe if you can. That helps my channel to grow a little bit. And if you can also click on that bell icon, I'll notify you that way through the YouTube algorithm whenever I upload new content that you can enjoy. Please do me a favor, and if you like, comment in the section down below and keep it friendly. And I'll do my best to respond to each comment as they come in. And other than that, I hope you have a great day and continue motoring, and I'll see you next time right here on Worldwide Canadian.